we'll get more into it, but you got those receivers over there. Even if AJ gets locked down, you still got somebody's got to take care of Sanu. There's a lot of guys out there, so we'll see. We'll talk about it, preview it more as we get closer. Thursday night football, Browns. They don't even play very many primetime games, period. So at least this one means something, and we'll see what happens with that. We'll talk tomorrow. Let's see, while we're talking about the NFL, there's some Monday Night Football tonight. Dr. Football will be here tomorrow. Colts and the Giants. Actually, I have a rooting interest in this. I may actually have to watch. No, I'd have to watch it on mute because I can't listen to Chucky Gruden. But I may have to watch tonight for fantasy football purposes. I trail in my matchup by exactly 40 points. It was 32 before a couple of garbage catches in the last 30 seconds of the game. But I trail by 40 points with Andrew Luck going tonight. So 40 points or more from Andrew Luck, and I can steal this bad boy from the jaws of defeat. So Andrew Luck, do me a favor and go slice up the New York Giants tonight at 8:30 on ESPN for those of you looking for that game. And we'll talk about that game tomorrow. We'll talk Browns. We'll look ahead to the Bengals with Dr. Football, Bill Checkus. But Andrew Luck, hook a brother up. Go to town here tonight. Monday Night Football. Looking forward to talking to you guys about that here. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, looking back at the way the weekend started, Cavs, and I'll go back to it here because we only spent a minute. What a difference a day makes. Good victory, going on the road, showing that, regardless, I know they're not that good. Some people will tell me they'll be lucky to be a 500 team. Maybe they'll slip their way into the playoffs. I mean, you got to see if a couple of other teams stumble first. But after the second game, maybe some people's opinions may have changed just a bit. I have no clue how many games this team's going to win. I have no clue how close or how short they're going to come to a championship. But anybody who looked at that first game of the season and took anything from that is absolutely nuts, man. And as you saw, the way they bounced back the second game, I mean, really, the first game was a function of its environment. And like I said, that's scary because the environment will be a lot bigger at the back end of the season than it was on your little opening night party. But is what it is. Now going on the road for 3 games starting tomorrow, that's a cool way to start the season to me, to get away from the distractions and go take care of some business and start to grow as a team. But very easily easing of the mind to come back the next night against Chicago and win a very good game. Very good basketball game. So speaking of Cavs, that night, a couple of decisions made the other day. Looking at contracts, Anderson Varejao, yes. Tristan Thompson, no. Now, it's not, don't everybody start. I love, this is again, the beautiful, and I say that so sarcastically, sports talk media that we have here in the radio dial of Cleveland. Gonna start it's funny because first, last week, the Cavaliers were going to give Tristan Thompson any amount of money he asked for because his agent is LeBron James people, and what LeBron wants, LeBron gets. So that was what everybody was telling you all week last week, was the Cavs are about to give a mint to Tristan Thompson because LeBron says so, and if LeBron says so, it's going to happen. Well, that didn't happen. Now, I do believe a deal's to be done. Tristan's not going anywhere. It's going to be like Eric Bledsoe. They were offering him 4 years, $40 million. He wanted closer to 4 years, $50 million. He's going to be a restricted free agent, which means he's not going anywhere unless the Cavaliers decide he's going somewhere. Next year, when the contract's up, the Cavaliers can let him go out there and look for any offer he can get. Go bring it to us, and we'll match it, because that's what's going to happen. Nobody needs to gloom and doom and act like the Cavs are going to let Tristan Thompson walk away. They just can't continue negotiating now until next summer when you get to the July 31st deadline. So Tristan Thompson, no doubt, he's still going to be a Cav going forward. They just have to. And this season, hey, that'll be the difference. If this season is so-so, it'll be closer to the $40 million. If it's, what Tristan wants it to be, it'll be closer to the $50 million. And if some other team jumps in, maybe he gets a lottery ticket and some other team signs him for 60 or 70, and then the Cavs have to match a much higher contract than he wanted to. So that's the risk you take when you let him go out there into free agency, but it's restricted free agency. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. Anderson Varejao also not going anywhere. Cavaliers extended his contract, and it's also being misreported in the media. For those of you that think that the Cavs just went out there and dumped $30 million in the next 3 years on Varejao, not even close to true. Less than $20 million of that contract is guaranteed, and only 2 years of it are guaranteed. There's a full guarantee on the first season. It's like 90% guaranteed in the second season, and nothing at all guaranteed in the third season. He's paid like $9.7 million in year one, which is just about the same as what he's making this year. 10.1 or something like that in year two, and the remainder if year three was to be invoked, but it won't be. It'll be traded or it'll be renegotiated. In reality, they're paying him 2 years, basically $10 million a year to keep Anderson Varejao here for the next 2 seasons beyond this one. But some people, how could they throw $30 million at Anderson? They didn't guarantee a third year to Varejao either. It's a very smart contract because the last year of it gives you a very tradable trading chip asset there as well. But don't trip about the Tristan Thompson thing, you guys. I mean, seriously. I mean, they were $8 to $10 million apart, and they will that value will determine itself in what he does this season. If he has a few more setting the record with the offensive rebound games, it'll be closer to the $50 million. Cavaliers off tonight. On the road, actually, heading to the West Coast for that trip. We'll preview it starting tomorrow. And let's see. I definitely wanted to make the final thing I talked about here today. Besides happy birthday to Bob Feller, 96 years young if he was alive today, 1918. Bob Feller was born, of course, the greatest pitcher in Cleveland Indians history. Happy birthday to the late Bob Feller. Last thing I wanted to talk about, and I mentioned this a month ago when we found out about it, and it's a shame that I wasn't able to go and be a part of it, but the story of Lauren Hill from Mount St. Joseph, we mentioned it last month. Freshman basketball player, inoperable brain cancer, not expected perhaps to make it through the holidays and the beginning of December coming up here at the end of the month. The NCAA made an exception and allowed the school to change its opener against Hiram College up 2 weeks, hoping that Hill could play, because remember, doctors told her they didn't even think she'd make it this far. They were able to do that. It was a huge crowd. It was an incredibly emotional thing. If you haven't seen it, look it up. Watch it. Go pull it up. It's on demand, I think. You can find it. 10,000 plus at Xavier, which hosted the game. For an example, most Mount St. Joseph games draw between 100 and 150 fans a game. 10,000 plus at Xavier for that. They raised a ton of money, obviously, in their fundraising efforts for the cure and for different things that they were working on, but the basketball part as well. They gave her the ceremonial initial basket and a big ovation and everybody going crazy, and then at the end of the game she got an opportunity to go out there and play a little ball. She wasn't able to do much because of the medication and her health circumstances at this time, but she got out there and she was able to make a right-handed layup to go with the lefty at the beginning, and she was much more excited about the second one. But a great moment, and really just an incredible thing for everybody that was able to be a part of that. Amazing. At the end of the day, the game raised over $40,000 for The Cure Starts Now, and that's a hell of a legacy to leave behind. As we know, the next few weeks be tough for that young lady and her family, but that $40K is a hell of a legacy to leave behind on your way out. Do something that people will remember. People will remember Lauren Hill and her moment this weekend for a long, long time. Guys, with that, I'm going to call it a day. Can't think of a better story to end it with. I'm going to call it a day and set you free. Come on back here tomorrow and join me. Dr. Football, Bill Checkis in the house talking Browns and NFL. Jeff Gorman from Indians101.com in the house. We'll talk a little baseball with him and look ahead to the Bengals as well, since he's not going to join us before the game. We'll talk a little bit with him. Doug Plagans, voice of the Lake Erie Monsters, in the house as well tomorrow, talking about the Texas two-step. They took them both this weekend at the Q. We'll talk about all of that, your takes and more. Same bat time, same bat channel, live, noon, you know where. right here on the Sports Fix Radio Network. We love you, Cleveland. Have a fantastic night. Enjoy Monday Night Football or whatever you're doing. Come on back here tomorrow, and we'll see you live, noon, here on The Fix. We love you, Cleveland. We'll see you tomorrow.